Hi there, wig lover. This is Heather from CysterWigs.com, and I'm living in an 80s fantasy right now with this entire ensemble. This is the new wave. It's like I knew I was going to be reviewing this today and planned this, maybe. But this new wave by TressAllure, and the color is Sunset Glow because I love this color. I have fluffed this wig up. I shook her a little bit and I did one of these things, kind of tickled it. You gotta tickle your wigs sometimes to really bring out the layering. This is definitely a shag. Absolutely old school shag. It's very comfortable on. And it does have a monofilament top as well as a lace front. So the cap construction on this is pretty solid. I love the bang on this. Isn't that fun? And the texture of the hair is definitely very silky. So it might be slightly reflective, but that will go away after you wash it a couple of times after you decide if you want to keep it. So let me go ahead and show you the cap construction and then we'll come back and chat some more. All right, let's take a look at the inside of the cap of New Wave by TressAllure. This wig has a very nicely done monofilament top and a lace front. Now, you may have noticed that the way we talk about these is a little bit different than they talk about them in the fashion wig community. This would be considered just a lace frontal. In our community, this is a lace front. It's actually pretty standard for what we would consider a lace front. Just note the lace is harder. It's meant to be worn without glue or adhesive. A lot of times in fashion wigs, when they call a wig glueless, they're not really glueless. You'll still have to glue them down somehow, or use something like Schwarzkopf got to be glued, or to pay tape in order to get the edges to lay flat. A wig with a really rigid lace front like this is meant to lay flat structurally. And you will also notice that this has very firm structural ear tabs. So if you ever wondered, if you're coming from the wig community for, the black beauty supply industry, or, you buy fashion wigs or cosplay wigs, you may have wondered what we mean by some of this terminology, since obviously we use it a little bit differently than they use it in those parts of the wigosphere. And we rely on structure and fit to maintain wig grip. We don't use a lot of adhesives or clips here in the wig community. Now, some wig wearers will sew combs or clips into their wig cap, but we typically don't have a ton of hair underneath the cap. So what we like is the structure to be built in, so that way it's not required. And a lot of us also happen to be very sensitive to adhesives, so it helps to have a really nice, rigid, structured cap. I digress. So we do have a temple to temple, contoured, pre-cut, firm, pale lace front. There's a seam between the lace front and the monofilament top. If I put the wig really close up here, you can see some of those knots, and they're a little rough to the touch. So if you have a sensitive scalp, I highly recommend using some kind of wig liner. There's also felt lining the structural ear tabs with a little bit of metal. So make sure those are flush up against the sides of your head when you go to wear this one out. She's got an ample band of elastic here on the side, so she's pretty stretchy, which is nice because a lot of TressAllure wigs fit very tight. The brand in general tends to fit very similarly, or at least these regular synthetic versions with their normal color palette fit very similarly to the Noriko line. So they're a little bit tight on somebody like me who has a 23.5-inch circumference. This one's a little bit stretchier than average though. We do have an extended felt nape. We have Velcro adjusters here in the back. Nice, like I said, lots of elastic here in the back. And it's wefted and open on the back and on the sides, and it's held together by bands of elastic. So really nice wig. I do think that this one is true to average, but I think that it's a little bit slightly, baby, teeny tiny amount more accommodating than most of her sisters from the TressAllure line, with the exception of their heat-friendly wigs. Their heat-friendly wigs are made in a completely different factory, still the same brand, just different manufacturing, and those tend to be a little bit larger than any of their non-heat friendly offerings. Welcome back. I've been playing with this some more. I really like this wig. I've got a little story for you. So at the beginning of this year, 2020, the wretched year that has been 2020, before things went completely off the rails, so at the beginning of this year, Rob from TressAllure came and visited us here in Athens, Georgia, and he visited our offices, and we went to this place called Heirloom that's in town, and it was delightful. And he showed me all of the spring and fall wigs that he was planning to come up with. And this was the one that I freaked out about. I was absolutely convinced that this one was going to be such a hit once people saw it. Now, I think it's one of those things where people have to really like shags. Just know that a shag's always going to be a little bit like rocker chic. It's always going to be a little bit edgier. But still, this one's soft, it's approachable. You could wear this for a girl's night out, or to the grocery store, or just around the house, and I don't think anybody would look at you sideways. If you wore this to work, people would think it was really cute. It's a nice wig, you know, if you get to go to work right now. I don't know. You might be working from home. I like this wig. I think it's comfortable. I happily recommend it to you if you like shags. This one's got beautiful layering. It starts right above my ear and just kind of goes down. I get very nice coverage here on the ear tabs. By the way, you can see where my bio hair starts and the wig begins because my hair is not red. And while you could technically wear this off the face if you wanted to, I think the bang length is just about perfect. It's really, really nice for this style, but you could always trim it if you wanted to. I'm Heather. I'm from CysterWigs.com. That's CysterWigs.com. Thank you for coming on this 80s thrill ride with me. And now for our moment of gratitude. I'd like to thank all of my patrons on Patreon, especially Miss Kathleen Ryan. Many of you know Kathleen. She's wonderful and she's very, very helpful. She's very knowledgeable about the hair. And the thing is, like, you would think she'd been doing this her whole life, but it's only been for about 4 years. So she's just that sharp. She's picked all this up like an encyclopedia. It's so cool. But anyway, and I'd like to thank AKGG, who I've had the pleasure of talking to via Skype, and she's a lovely person. I've talked to a lot of my patrons one-on-one via the DMs in there, and I just want to say thank you. It's been really cool getting to know you, and I really appreciate having you to hang out with during these times. I'd also like to thank my husband because he's going to help me clean all this up, and he also helped me rehang my backdrop so it's a little bit higher. So that way I can try to get more even light on everything. Let me know what you think. And that's about it for now. Until next time, have a great night, everybody. Bye.